Okay. Woohoo! I'm live, everybody. I was just moving the camera around a little bit. There we go. Fantastic. Happy Sunday for those of you who are joining us right now and those of you who are going to be tuning in a little bit later. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. So I thought I would start to do these Alberta Research Project, American Heiress Dissertation lives when I can. And hopefully, now that sort of life for me has slowed down as far as travel is concerned, twice a week, which I think is really fun. So hopefully it's as fun for you as it is for me, which is brilliant. Look at all of these amazing virtual volunteers that we have on today. So again, we've got Sally saying hi to everybody from Team Queen Mary. So do say hi to your teams, those of you who are new to this live and to the Alberta Research Project and my American Heiress Dissertation. We have created this extraordinary group of virtual volunteers across, pretty much across the US. And each of the teams, we divided them into teams, are named after a White Star liner. We've already discovered that Alberta has traveled on a couple of these White Star liners that the groups are representing, if you like. So we've got, we know that she traveled on the Queen Mary. There's a team Queen Mary. We know that she traveled on the Adriatic. There's a team Adriatic. I think a couple other ones, but I'm sure as we get through her letters, because we have an archive of around, we think, just under 12,000 letters. The majority of the ones that she wrote herself, but of course ones that she kept and archived herself. We think around 12,000. We believe it to be the largest American heiress collection of letters, diaries, and journals. And so I'm certain we're going to uncover a whole lot more. Look at all these people saying hi. We've got Team Regina here, Team Majestic, Team Celtic is here. Fantastic. Let me just make sure I've got all the teams. And do say hi where you're tuning in from, which is brilliant. So amazing. We've got, I said Team Queen Mary. That's right. Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, I had to think about that. I know we've got somebody from Team Adriatic here. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So again, just saying hi to everybody. What I want to do this evening, my time, because it is 7 o'clock in the UK, is to hopefully finish off that diary. Let's see how we get on. But first and foremost, I wanted to send you all. I'm just going to stick this over there. There we go. I have like bits around me to make sure that all the technology is working. So those of you who are interested in coming on the American Heiress Holiday Supper Club, that's right. There's another one coming on, Holiday Supper Club. Here is the link. All proceeds of this go towards, Chef Joe, of course, not all of them, who will be dedicating her time to this, but also towards the Alberta Research Project. And in particular, we are starting to move towards a platform, an archiving platform where we can host it, and also an AI that we believe we can now train to help to transcribe. Think about all these letters that need to be transcribed. It's pretty incredible. Thank you, Milagro. You are lovely. So yes, somebody's just said, Margaret's just said she's just finished decorating the tea and sitting down with a cuppa. I love that. So yes, that's right, Jackie, 12,000 letters. We do believe that is the case. So I am staying warm. Yes, exactly. It's still really cold here. I did have a hat on before I started this live, but I thought, no, I'll take it off. But I've got my fingerless gloves as always. I've got a lovely warm scarf, really, really thick jumper on as well. Yes, so I'm always cold, okay? The point is that regardless, and I think moving from America over to here, I believe this to be true. Comment down below, but I'm pretty sure that Americans heat their houses, in my opinion, higher than they do here in the UK. So in the UK, we really keep things, I don't know, like maximum 20 degrees. So Celsius, whatever that is, Fahrenheit. So yes, I'm just always cold here. There we go. Yes, before we get into the letters, Rhonda will be doing a Christmas market video. The Christmas market video is edited and it will go out on YouTube under our other channel, sister channel. It'll go on YouTube next Saturday. But if you're a patron of Mapperton Live, you would have seen that already. It's already come out. So I'm going to pull up. Let me get this. And that's right, exactly right, Leslie. It's so damp in the UK. Yeah, it does cut through. Trust me, it literally cuts through. I mean, I'm always cold in the winter here, and even in the spring, and even in the autumn, always cold. And even in the summer, because we only really get 2 weeks of summer here. So listen, I sound like I really have become British in the sense that I just moan about the weather the whole time. I didn't really understand it when I first moved over here. Like, everybody moans about the weather all the time. Like, that's what everybody talks about. But now I understand why we talk about the weather and why we moan about it as much as we do, because it's rather miserable. It is pouring with rain right now. So there's a lot of rain as well. A lot of rain. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up 1 second. And we're going to, I know I've got it marked. Here we go. There we go. Excellent. I have it marked. So yes, so come to that. I'd love you to come to the Alberta. The recipes, Joe is choosing them now. So last week at Mapperton, I scanned some recipes that I thought would be really fun to make on December 30th, and that you could eat it that night, or you could cook along and then save it for New Year's Eve. So I've sent those to Chef Joe, and Chef Joe is going to choose which recipe she thinks will be best. And she'll put a little Chef Joe, I think, twist on it as well, which we will let you know. So those of you who have already signed up for the Alberta holiday summer, or not summer, we did it in the summer, holiday supper club, I will be sending you out those recipes as soon as Joe chooses which ones she would like to do. So the link is in there. If you haven't signed up, again, all proceeds goes towards the Alberta Research Project. And again, making sure that these letters are archived properly. They're hosted on a correct platform. And if possible, which it looks like it is, that we can train the AI to read not only Alberta's very difficult handwriting, but also George's, probably more difficult, her husband, probably more difficult than Alberta's, and even her mother's, Betty. Wow. There you go. So, yes, some of you have been asking if we need more volunteer transcribers. We actually don't. So that's really, really kind. Right now, we're going to keep it as is because it's manageable. These transcribers who are active in the group have been transcribing now for 5 months. It's quite a learning curve, and there's quite a lot of admin that comes around that is involved in this. And I know that these transcribers are nodding their heads. Yes, there is. So we have closed off the Alberta Research virtual volunteers for transcribing, and I don't think that we will be opening it up. These transcribers have spent 5 months really getting to understand Alberta's language and spending a lot of admin time, and we have the core group right now. And so, but thank you for those of you who have texted me or who have DM'd me through social media and through the comments down below. Right now, we are actually A-okay. So, so thank you. And it's been a real learning curve, I think, for all of us on this journey. Definitely for me, and the amount of admin that has to go into this and to make sure that it's right. And lots of questions, and I'm so pleased that we have this incredible group. It's really fun to read the diary entries. It's just brilliant. And it's funny because I thought Alberta, on the one hand, when I first started to sort of investigate her archive, I didn't think that she was one that wrote sort of little bits of gossip I thought it was, and just because of some of the letters I'd read, it was more about pleasantries and more about sort of what was going on in her life. But now we've gotten into some of the nitty gritty of the letters, and there is some fantastic society gossip. It's brilliant. Right, so I'm going to scroll down. Let me get to the page I need to get to. So remember, we're going to start on, I believe it was New Year's Day. We've done Christmas. I'm just going through Christmas. There we go. And here we are. Here we go. It's really, really sweet. Okay, I'm smiling. I just want to get it on the right page here. There we are. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. I'm just looking. Yep, I did that. We went in the sleigh. Sorry. Here we go. December 31st, 1890. Just had to find it. Oh my gosh. Can I just mention Sarah is on a plane crossing the US and she's watching from there. Well, that is brilliant. Rona has just said, who's one of our transcribers, she loves gossip. It's brilliant. So yes. Will I need to get permission to quote the letters? No, because they're privately owned by me. So yes, they are. There we go. Right, so here we are. We have diary entry, December 31st, 1890. It's evening, she writes, evening. We just got home. Sorry, let me just read that. We just got home from Arthur's. All is all right. Again, we are so glad. As soon as we got home, I met here Kate Guthrie, a very nice second cousin of ours, and Ruth Beisel or Bissell, a cousin by marriage. They both came to spend New Year's Eve. Kate plays piano beautifully, and she's just as nice as can be. How I like her. And Ruth is awfully nice, so funny, and just makes you laugh all the time. So now we're still sort of New Year's Day, it looks like. Happy New Year. So we're in 1891, everybody. This morning, I ran into the guests' room where Ruth and Kate were. Of course, I woke them up with a Happy New Year. And then I lay in bed with them while we talked all about the next year. I mean, 1891 instead of 1890. After we talked some time, Hall came and knocked at the door. So he opened and he came in and showed us a pair of lovely buttons Cousin Cara had sent him, and also a lovely red leather pocketbook. Oh yes, I did read this last time, but we'll go through it. With $1 also from Cousin Cara. Of course, I asked him where my things were, for I always get something when he does. So he gave me mine. I had a chain of silver beads and a lovely locket in silver, also a pretty pocketbook in yellow leather and blue forget-me-nots on and a silver dollar inside, also from Cousin Cara. So she got the silver dollar. We had a very nice time, breakfast, pancakes, so as to make it even nicer, and maple syrup too. Then we read until 11. As soon as it was 11, we began to dress up. Oh, what fun. Ruth had one of Auntie's pretty Romanian nightgowns at the waist, picked up by the rope of my dressing gown, and a large red silk sash thrown across my left shoulder. Also lots of beads around her neck and lots of silver bracelets. She looked so sweet. Kate had on Mama's red silk skirt, and on her waist, a black lace scarf and Mama's, looks like jet jacket. She looked very nice, and Josephine fixed up her hair. Josephine would be her aunt. I had on one of Mama's white embroidered petticoats with all sorts of, somebody wrote this before, she put fissures with all sorts of fissures around my waist and arms, then a large veil, which was about 3 yards long and 2 broad. I represented a bride, while Hall had on his Berkeley suit. In the afternoon, us four gave a performance. We played Cinderella, then the Sleeping Beauty, then we had charades. For instance, we had the word bracelet or candlestick. Brilliant. A month and a half ago, we heard that Uncle Charlie died. Oh, poor Mrs. Rogers and the babes. All right, here we go. We are now on, thank you for all this. I do go back through these notes here. So that's fantastic. Jet beads, thank you. Right, here we are, Friday, January 2nd, 1891. Today is horrid and dreary. Horrid is a word that is actually used very often here still today when describing the weather in the UK. And dreary, very often used word here. And rainy and foggy. How horrid. At 10, I went to the dentist's and had one tooth filled, my teeth cleaned, and a little medicine put in one of my teeth. I got a letter from Gracie. Remember, Gracie is one of her best friends, thanking me for the book Hall and myself sent her. She is, of course, poor thing, in school. Mama and Auntie have gone to dinner at Delmonico. Look that up, everybody. She's in New York. Delmonico with Colin. Saturday, 3rd of January, 1891. We have, this morning, I was the only one at breakfast as Mama and Auntie felt tired after last night. For as soon as they had finished dinner, they went to see Herman display his tricks, and Holly felt like staying in bed, so I was alone. When I came up from breakfast, I went in the library and began reading a little. And then she writes, hold on. She put, after that, I went up to where Mama, Auntie, and Hall were, and just as I arrived up there, I was greeted with, quote unquote, the theater that we went to last night is burnt to the ground. Listen up, everybody. Wow. So Auntie read us the newspaper. It appears that Herman's Theater and the 5 Avenue Theater had both burnt to the ground. Also, the window sills of the Bower, B-O-W-E-R, house. It was at 11:45, an alarm was sent out, and the 2 engines came, but as there was little smoke of one of the engines returned. But at 12, the 2nd and 3rd alarm was sent out, and 18 engines came to the fire. A porter and ammunition store had exploded and had carried the flames from the stores to Herman's Theater, and from Herman's Theater on and on to other houses, so that the whole block was in flames. I have the newspaper description now in here. I had my piano lesson and then got ready to go out to lunch at Edna Moss, my school friend. Before we went there, we went to see the fire, Josephine and I. The smoke and sparks were still rising from the building, and nothing was but the walls of the 5th Avenue Theater fire. The pump was still there, and from there, we went to Edna's. Josephine left me, and we then went up and played till lunch. We had a very nice time playing tiddlywinks. At 4, Josephine came and got me, and we went to Hall's school to get his, it looks like, probation card, and then home. It's awfully cold today. Mama has a large dinner downstairs. There are 10 people at dinner. Good night, sleep tight, don't let the bugs bite. Shouldn't say bed bugs, don't let the bugs bite. And then she signs it A.S. I mean, how wonderful is this? Sunday, January 4th, 1891, 10 minutes past 2. This morning, Auntie, that's Aunt Josephine, got up and came down to breakfast. After breakfast, I read a little in my room, I read a little, and then she said, set my room to order. Then Hall and I went and untrimmed the Christmas tree. We had so many things that we almost filled a hat box, and we filled another box almost 3/4 of a yard long, and also a smaller box. After that, I rearranged my room, for it had got untidy. Put the boxes away as I shut them in the closet, stacking to my little room. After that, I just had time to wash my hands and face, and down to lunch I went. As soon as I was up from lunch, I began arranging my desk, the Christmas holidays, and tomorrow. Then she writes, Thursday, January 8th, 1891. This morning I did not feel well, so I did not go to school. Yesterday, Jojo was sick. Jojo is Aunt Josephine. January 9th, 1891, Friday. This morning I went to school. I had a nice time there. At 12, I came home, and then at 2, I went to the dentist. You gotta love this. I must go there again the 9th of March. He has finished with me, and I am so glad. January 14th, 1891, Wednesday. Mama took me to see Mrs. M, French. Sheldon, the lady, who is going to Africa, went to write a book. She is just as sweet as can be. To me, she seems. And then it says, when I saw her today, she wore her hair all in a small sort of Eiffel Tower with a large piece of tortoise shell to hold up the back. She wore a black silk dress with a yellow silk front and lace over it. She looked so pretty. We stayed over an hour, and to me, it seemed as though I had been there 5 minutes. Thursday, 15th of January, 1891. Today, Mama went to see Mrs. Sheldon, and at my request, asked her to give me one of her flowers to press and her signature. So when Mama came back, she brought 2 lovely roses and her signature from Mrs. Sheldon to me. Friday, January 16th, 1891. Mama went to spend the day with Mrs. Sheldon and brought back a present from her. It is a basket, like a market basket. And then it says, looks like it has with 2 shelves, one raised a little higher than the other, filled with roses and flowers. Then the lid comes off, and it is a bonbonniere. Mrs. Sheldon leaves tomorrow, expects to get to Africa next month, and back in June. January 16th, 1891, Friday. Mama and Auntie have all arranged it. If the lady will take our home for 3 months, and Papa says we may go. We are going to Jefferson, Texas the end of this month. We will live with, it looks like croons, friends of theirs, and ride horseback and go swimming. Won't it be fun? Papa will be down there, and Mama is going with us there, Auntie Hall. So it might be, now that I think about this, that they were going to Texas because that's when her father, William Sturges, was looking to do the deal, helping to support the building of the state capitol in Texas. I'm not sure, but could be. Josephine is going too. And then she lists a bunch of people. Gina, Jessa, Tessa, we're not sure. Karen and Sarah leave. Sarah will probably come back when we are back. We are also glad that we do not know what we will now, I expect, tomorrow night. It's a little bit of there. I'm not sure there. But she then starts again. Tomorrow, Hall, Mama, Auntie, Josephine, and myself are going to see a lecture in the French exhibition. The performance begins at 8 p.m. and very likely ends at 10. Good night. Saturday, January 17th, 1891. Oh, what awful news I have to say in my diary. Auntie went yesterday to see Mrs. Davis, as it is her reception day, and when she got there, she rang the bell, and Mr. So-and-so opened the door. He was very pale, and his eyelids were swollen. Auntie said very nicely, "Is Mrs. Davis in?" Have you heard the news? Mr. Arpel inquired. What news? Said Auntie. Mr. Davis is dead, was the only answer. Of course, as soon as Auntie was well, she heard this. She imagined how he died. It is said that Mr. Davis was reading the newspaper at 8 o'clock p.m. Thursday evening, January 15th, 1891. She all at once looked up, laid down her newspaper, and then died. He looked up, laid down his newspaper, and then he died. He was perfectly well, so there was nothing to worry about just then. Poor Mrs. Davis is unconsolable, and one cannot do anything with her. She talks to him, her husband, as though he was still living. Mr. Davis is to be burned. Monday, June 19th, it looks like, I think. Let me just make sure it's not January 19th. No, we're January 19th. Here we go. January 19th, 1891. Mama is going to the funeral, also Auntie. Mr. Davis was such a lovely man. Never said a cross word to anyone. Mrs. Davis said that he never said to her one cross word or said any cross words. And then it says, I think it would be lovely to be able to remember such a lovely character of a man. Monday, 12 o'clock, January 19th, 1891. The whole thing is decided. The lady takes our house and will come into it the 27th, which is a week from tomorrow. That is to say Tuesday. Josephine, Auntie, Hall, and myself go most likely next Saturday, the 24th. Mama does not leave till the 27th, and then we'll with Josephine go to Chicago, and from there to Jefferson, Texas. We are going by the ocean. It takes 6 nights and 6 days. It will be fun, just like going across the ocean to Europe, but instead of this, we will go along the Maine something. Both Hall and myself leave school, but we will go back again next term. We are going to study at Jefferson, Texas, for we will take our books down there. I am going to pay most of my attention to arithmetic, for that is what I am most lack in. And then she writes, Saturday, Mr. Davis is buried. At least the ceremony was performed, but he is to be laid in the ground out in the country. Mama did not go, but she went to the funeral. January 26th, 1891, Monday. We are not, after all, going to Texas, but as the house is rented, we leave tomorrow for Livingston County, New York State. Wednesday, January 27th, 1891. It looks like it's Geneseo in New York, Geneseo. We arrived here this morning after a long and agreeable travel, all but last night when we were so tired. On our way, we saw very queer things. One was a rock that looked like an elephant, so it is called Elephant Rock. After we found a natural spring, as it was cold, the bottom part was frozen, and it looked like a white statue while clear water sprung up at the top. This was situated on the Susquehanna River. The place here is very beautiful and I enjoy it very much. Mama is at the Millers. From our window, we have full view of the Genesee, so where they are, valley. 1.5 miles, there is a village called Milford, and near this village is a salt mine. Along the valley is the river Genesee. I hope I'm saying it the right way. Geneseo, thank you, Rona. Aunt Kate Miller's daughter, Carlotta, is 9 months old. Kathleen Crane, Aunt Bess's daughter, is almost 4. Coco is just 2 years old. Okay? February 9th, 1891. Where she's in I know I'm saying it with like an Italian way. So is it Geneseo? I'm going to say Geneseo, but that would be how you would say it in Italian. Today is Grace's birthday. I hope that she's having a very nice time. February 11th, 1891. Geneseo, maybe I'll say it that way. Today, I am very sorry indeed to say, got this piece of paper. And then she got this piece of paper, so I'm going to read it. It says, so this is typed. It says, there was a frantic rush of applicants for the late Mrs. Gray's apartments in St. James's Palace, but it was a mere trifle as compared with the hurly-burly which has been excited among the hungry horde who think that they have claims upon the Queen by the death of Mrs. William Ashley, upon whose house many people have kept their attention eagerly fixed for 10 years past. Mrs. Ashley was the widow of a younger brother of the late Lord Shaftesbury, who was for many years Vice Chamberlain and Treasurer to Queen Adelaide. He was a great man at court during the reign of William IV and stood second in royal favor only to Lord Howe. The king gave these apartments to Mr. and Mrs. Ashley more than 55 years ago, and in spite of protests of Lord Melbourne, and Lord Dungannon, Her Majesty granted them to the couple with benefit of survivorship, it being the last warrant in which a revisionary clause was allowed to be inserted. The house is a large one with excellent rooms and very well arranged, and it is considered to be the best apartment in St. James's Palace, so that the commotion which has been created by Mrs. Ashley's death is perfectly intelligible. I understand that the apartments have been offered by the Queen to the Duke and Duchess of Connaught, and in the event of their declining to take them, it is probable that they will be granted either to the Dowager Lady Churchill or to the Prince and Princess Victor of Hohenlohe-Langenburg, whose present quarters in St. James's Palace are very small and inconvenient. There you go. Now we've got, she's in Geneseo. Should I say Geneseo? March 9th. Today was Kathleen Crane's birthday. We had make-believe tea, and oh, we had such fun. And she put, by the tea, sorry, in parentheses, she put water. There was served in Kathleen play dishes, orange in pieces of cake with 4 candles on it, as she was 4 years old. We had small ginger snaps about as large as a 10-cent piece. We also had a little bit of candy. It was very nice. This morning, Kathleen came down to breakfast with a purse in her hand, and we wished her a happy birthday, and she came up to our table saying, "Oh, just see, I have got a purse." I've got a purse with a whole penny in it. She was so happy that grandfather, who had come a few days before, gave her one more. We all gave her one, and she was so proud, as it had been the first bit of money she had ever had. Our family gave her a doll and a box of candies, and Josephine and myself made her a gown. March 13th, 1891. Today, Mama and Auntie took Hall and myself to hear a lecture given by Mr. Biggs. We thought he was going to lecture on Marie Antoinette, but lectured on the worth of words. It was very interesting. He gave us the meaning of the names of different people. So she writes, William means golden helmet. I should remember that for my son, William. Thomas, the twin. Gertrude, great truth. Alberta means all bright. Ursula, little bear. It was very interesting. He said that the word father came from fader or fider. That is to say, the feeder of the family. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I enjoyed the talk ever so much. When the lecture was given and finished, he said something very beautiful. It was this: I wish you all to be as this. A child comes into the world weeping, and while all around are smiling, when death comes nigh, goes smiling, while all around are weeping. Amen. Saturday, March 14th, thank you, Genesea. Thank you. I was saying it then the right way. I was saying it the Italian way. Brilliant. Hold on, I'm just going to pause here. Yes. Great. Everybody's saying it's interesting. I'm making sure I don't have fantastic. There we go. Brilliant. Okay. Carrying on. We're almost finished, everybody. Here we go. Saturday, March 14th, Geneseo, New York. Today, Mary Jennings came over and showed me how to make May basket. To begin with, one makes a cornet of paper and glues it together. Then one takes colored tissue paper and one cuts it in pieces 2.5 inches wide and as long as possible. After that, one cuts up the tissue halfway, like a something handle, where the outside of the cornet is glued. One gets the tissue and puts it up on the paper closely so that nothing shows, but the paper when fringed. One makes a handle to it by braiding the paper together and sticking it on each side inside. This sounds complicated. When the 1 of May comes around, the girls fill it with flowers and candy, and the boys the same. The girls go in the evening and hang them on the boys' doors and the boys on the girls'. If the boy catches the girl putting it on his door, he must kiss the girl. And if the girl catches the boy, she must kiss him. I think that May baskets are very nice, and I know very old-fashioned. How wonderful is this? How brilliant is this? Sunday, March 15th, 1891. Okay, let's just be mindful with comments here. 1891. This morning, I went to the morning service. After that, Mary Jennings came to lunch, brought her own something to make for herself. We're not sure what that word is. She made a very pretty light yellow one, so maybe she brought her own paper. At 3:30, we went to church to practice Easter hymns. After that, it was 5 when it ended. Then Fred Rickard came and stayed 1 hour when it was time for dinner. After dinner, I went to church again and then to bed. Monday, March 16th, 1891. Today I have a cold and must not go out, so I have not much to do, but I made 3 May baskets, and that is all. Goodbye. Sunday, March 29th, 1891, Easter Day. They're still in Geneseo, Livingston County, New York, Wallace Hotel. Today the church was lovely. The chapel was covered with white embroidered silk, and around and before the choir boys were lovely plants. The boys marched over nicely, but Charlie Vickers, who has a very strong voice, was 2 bars behindhand, so at one line it sounded rather hoarse. Hilarious. I'm just going to there we go. And we have, so I'm at the horse. Here we go. As there is a Sunday and school festival, and the whole Sunday school marches down the aisle following the choir boys. Oh, it's really nice just to read this, to read these things. After that was done, we saw Mrs. Wilson, the organ player, it looks like she says a Kodak photo of the church. It says Kodak, so we're not sure what that means. So Kodacks. It's like a Kodak's photo. Kodak's photo of the church. From there, we went to the Baptist church, knowing that there would be a baptismal. We waited almost 2 hours, and then only they came to be baptized. She says she finds it very weird to have them all put away under the water. It said if the baby is not underwater, they were not considered baptized. Interesting. And so, yes, here we go. Here we go, 1 second. April 1st, 1891, Wallace House, Geneseo, New York. April Fool's Day. Today, the first thing in the morning, Josephine and Hollister fooled me. We had an orange each, and I had given Hall a blood orange and asked him if he would prefer orange, not blood, and he said yes. I gave it to him and asked him for the other one. He said and then its words faded to the end of the line. And then the words continue upside the page, so it's hard. It said he gave it one after a while, and then the words are cut off. This is where they kind of go a little bit. So I don't have the joke here. We're almost finished, everybody. You guys are amazing with the positive comments here. Okay, it's pronounced Geneseo. Okay, thank you, Geneseo. Is that right? Geneseo. Great. Interesting stuff. Great. Here, listen to this one, everybody. Monday, April 6th, 1891, Niagara Falls, Suspension Bridge. This morning at 6, I awoke and got up and dressed. At 7:15, we went down to breakfast, and from there in the bus to the station. Miss E. North walked down to the station with Auntie while Mother and Grandfather went walking on behind. On our way, we met Mary Jennings, who was coming to see us off. When we got to the station, we were a little early, so we walked until the train came. The train started at 7:30 and we got there at 11 a.m. So we were 3 hours and a half. When we got here and were out of the train, a little boy came up and asked whether Auntie was Miss McLeod. And she said yes. So he said, Mama said that I should show you the way up to the house. So we followed him. Mrs. Green, the landlady, is very nice, and her husband also. They have a little boy named Frank. He is Hollister's age and so very nice and polite. He is Hall's companion, of course, and he went with us, showed us the way to his mother's house, and we had left our things in the room. We went with Frank to the post and found a letter for Auntie. When we got back, it was time for lunch. After lunch, we started and crossed the old suspension bridge and went to Canada. We bought in one of the shops a basket of, and we're not sure what that word is, everybody, it's hard. March 7th, 1891, Tuesday. No entry. Okay. April 7th, 1891, Tuesday. We have seen the Horseshoe and American Falls and have had a perfectly lovely time. Friday, April 10th, 1891, evening, Niagara. How we have all seen everything that there is to see from beginning to end. We have been across the Cantilever Bridge. We walked across, which is not really allowed, but as Mr. Green has special permission to cross, walking, he had the kindness to take us all across. We leave tomorrow morning at 6:45 a.m. Sunday, April 12th, 1891, New York. Yesterday morning we started, and after a long and rather tedious voyage, we arrived here. We came out of the Central Railroad, that is to say that we came down by the bank of the Hudson River. We enjoyed the Hudson, but it was a rainy day and we could not see much. But when we got back to Geneseo, we may take the boat up to Albany and then from Albany, the train. The weather is awfully warm. April 25th, 1891, New York. Today we had a delightful time. Auntie took us to see, we're not sure, but it could be a circus. We did enjoy it immensely. I'm so sorry that Mr. Barneson is dead. We got there 1 hour too soon, but we reserved some seats and then went to see the menagerie. Before we saw it, we came to places where women were twisted so that nothing could be seen but the waist up. One was fixed on a swing and the other was swinging herself, yet nothing was seen. The next one seemed to be standing and all were empty spaces, yet she could not find where their legs were. How funny, it sounds like contortionists. We also saw a woman under, it looks like magnetisms, but she would fly up in the air and everything was very funny. The clowns were from the circus, was given in Madison Square Garden. We had perfectly splendid seats and saw most everything, though 5 things were always going on at once, sometimes 10, so it was hard to see the things. As Holly would say, look here, and Auntie would say, and there, and I would look at another place also. The heat is remarkable. I'm dressed as I will be all summer. Okay, so then it looks like she's got May 5th, 1891. Yesterday afternoon, Mr. McCarthy came and told us that he would like to have us go and spend the night in Plainfield. So Mrs. Worth, who is visiting us, Mama, Auntie, Hollister, and myself went to Plainfield, New Jersey. We had a perfectly lovely time, and when we got there, Mr. McCarthy took Mama, Auntie, and Miss North out driving in one of those yellow carriages where one drives themselves. And being only 4 places, 4 places in the carriage, Hall and I stayed at home. He has 2 lovely carriage horses, such darlings. They are yellow. Then he has 1 lovely black one to ride, and that one is called Hero. He has, of course, a large stable, 4 carriages, 1 yellow, 1 with 4 places, the one Mama went out driving in, and 1 Victoria. He also has 2 lovely black collie dogs. The larger one is a male and is called Jack, but it is always pronounced Jock. The smaller one is called Jean, but it is always pronounced Gin. Not a pronunciation very good next to Jean. We had a lovely supper and a nice time. I had a room to myself, as I kick when I sleep with people. We are going to drive over to Madison this afternoon. It is 12 miles distance, but today is much too cold a day, so we took the train after having looked and said goodbye to the dogs and animals. The Malcolms leave 22 West 34th Street. This is their place in New York. Tomorrow afternoon. I shall miss them very much. Indeed, they are going to Brooklyn for a week and then are going to the Grand Hotel until they leave for the country. What will be most likely in 4 or 6 weeks. Okay, everybody, get ready for the ending. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh my gosh. Here we go, everybody. This is great, great, great. Is Luke on here, did somebody say? Is he getting into the end of it? I'm going to read the last account, everybody, so get ready. Get ready. Here, he is on here. I expect part of the reason she writes so well is that she would have read widely and deeply, not like many teenagers today. Very true. Good one, Luke. He's right over there. Okay, this is the last entry. Now I have finished this diary and I'm going to go on another book. So I say goodbye to you, dear book, and I shall often look at you and think of the days when I was young and happy. This is 1891, everybody. She ended the book. And that was in, it looks like that was in, what month are we in? May. Is that right? Yes, May. So the question is, do I have another diary? Not the one that follows on from this. There is one being transcribed right now from 1899. So this one ended in 1891. She would have gone on to another book. Right now, I haven't found it. It doesn't mean that it's not there in the monument room, but there are also other family members who possibly might have her diary. I'm going to go look at a couple boxes over Christmas. I don't know if there's stuff in there, but there might be. So fingers crossed, everybody do good positive vibes that we can find more of her diaries in these 2 boxes. I don't know what's in them. The person I'm going to go see knows that there are some Alberta stuff is in there. And yeah, so fingers crossed, or I might find them. You never know in one of the boxes in the monument room. Never say never, everybody. So that is it. We finished it. Well done, everybody. And a reminder right here to sign up for the American Heiress gift. You can gift it as also as a Christmas present. What a great Christmas present. I'm more about experiences than I am about sort of things. I think we have enough things in this world, too many things. So if you, again, want to gift it to somebody, you can absolutely do that. You can gift it to somebody, which would be lovely, lovely, lovely. So check that out. The lovely gift to give to somebody, which is brilliant. Somebody's asked, have we, this is the last question I'll take. Have we started decorating Mapperton? Do you know, we don't, I think because we don't have Thanksgiving here, it's, even though, yes, Regent Street's decorated, Oxford Street's decorated, and things have gotten earlier and earlier, but because we use foliage on the estate, we need it to last. So we don't really decorate until right before Christmas. So we definitely won't probably start decorating the house until we're down there very much a few days before Christmas. Because when I make my swags, it's using foliage from the estate, and so I want it to last. And I don't want it to dry up. Plus, we are in a quite old house, and we have to be very careful on making sure that the foliage and what we're using stays fresh. So yeah, stays, well, you know what I mean, moist. I should say. So thank you all so much. Wendy, I was just saying that a really good gift to give to people, if you're looking for a Christmas gift to give to somebody, is the American Heiress Holiday Supper Club, which is happening on the 30th of December. It's a perfect time to create a meal for New Year's Eve. And if you're looking for a Christmas gift, they can join me live. That would be it's at noon Eastern Daylight Time on a Saturday, the 30th. So, yes. Yeah, there we go. I think it's a lovely Christmas gift to give to people. Well, at least in my view. All right, I'm going to sign off so Luke can come back in and we can make some supper. Right, Luke? So bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And I will go live again with some letters. So we'll be looking at some really interesting letters, everybody. I won't say what they are yet, on Wednesday of this week. So again, thank you all so much. And we'll be back to reading letters, just a few letters that I'll select this Wednesday. Night, everybody.